Hello everyone, Dom here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create the reverse reverb effects in Cubase to create some amazing build-ups and also add anticipation, momentum and excitement to your productions. Let's get started. So today we're going to talk about the rather famous reverse reverb effect in Cubase and how to create it. So in order to show you that, I'm going to play this track and we're going to embellish it with these reverse sounds. Let's have a listen.
You and I, but in my mind, it's you and I having dinner on the couch.
Okay, first of all, as you can hear, we already have a reverse sound in the beginning of this track, but maybe I want to also have a reverse reverb vocal. And this is one of the ways that this effect is commonly used. So there are many ways that you can do this, but I'm going to show you how I do this, and I think it's really fast. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my vocal channel. And now I'm going to find the snippets that I want to apply this effect onto. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one, and let's have a listen to this vocal.
You and I.
So in this case, I would probably want to have just the U part of the vocal to come in as a reverse reverb effect. So in order to do this, I'm going to trim this vocal to only the part where we have the U. Let's listen. Great. Now I'm going to open it up a little bit and add a little bit of a fade out. There we go. That's great. Now, one thing that I do straight after this is I'm bouncing this portion to audio. So I'm going to hit bounce selection so that I can only work on this little snippet of the vocal. And now here comes the interesting part. I'm going to hit F7 to bring up my direct offline processing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add the reverb. Now, before you even do this, I would totally suggest that you take your tail here and then increase it to around 5 or 6 seconds so that you have enough room for the tail to develop. So now that we've done this, I'm going to go to plugin and I'm going to add revelation. There we go. So now as you can see, this is already processed. Why? Because I have auto apply on. And that means that even if I want to make any change to this reverb, this is going to be applied straight away. Now let's have a listen and let's see how it sounds. Now let me explain a little bit the settings that I have on Revelation. As you can see, I have it 100% to tail. I don't really need early reflections here. I just want the pure tail of the reverb. Then I have a pretty long room size, long main time, and then a really important thing is making sure that your mix is all the way to 100% wet, because we want to make sure that I'm going to keep just the reverb, and I want to have the reverb as loud as possible. And of course, you can change the settings to whatever suits you best. Now, since we've done this, the next step is, of course, to reverse what we just created. So I'm going to go process and I'm going to hit reverse. And now I have this reverb that we just created in reverse. So this is going to sound like this. This is it. Now, all I need to do is just sync it so that I have this really nice anticipation effect before my song starts. How do you do this? I'm going to show you a technique that I use all the time. I like to open this in the sampler editor here, and then I like to set my snap point to the point where I want this to end and where the real vocal will come in. So I'm going to go here and I think possibly, yeah, right here. So this is where my dry vocal would start. So I'm going to show you why I did this, because now I have to sync it so that it falls exactly here. And I can do it manually, you know, but if you've set your snap point, then see, it snaps straight away. The snap point is right here. So I don't have to do any guesswork. It's already there. It's done for me. And now all I need to do is just trim this. And let's have a listen now with the dry vocal. See that? I didn't even have to sweat. It's already synced. We don't hear this original sound that still comes through the reverb. We only get this nice build-up.
You and
I mean, you can do this manually, but Cubase has all these amazing tools so that you don't really have to sweat. So that's great. Now maybe I want to do the same thing with this one, but maybe I want to have a little bit of a twist to this. Let's have a listen. Okay, that's nice. Let's try and do the same thing because I want to create a different effect. We have a lot of space here, so let's fill it in with these reverse reverbs. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Audio, Bounce Selection, and then hit F7. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing, add Revelation. The same settings, the settings are retained. And there we go, let's have a listen. Now I'm going to reverse it again. Let's have a listen. And now I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I'm going to add the Autopan plugin. And let's hear how it sounds now. So I have a nice build up, it's rhythmic, it's kind of strange. You know what, I'm going to deactivate this for now and I'm going to set my snap point first. So again, I'm going to go here, let's see. Yes, I don't want this bit, so in this case I'm going to go snap this here. And now I'm going to move this just before the dry vocal starts. And I don't need this. I'm going to perform a fade in here. And now let's add the Autopan. Okay. And let's trim it.
But in my mind, it's you and I.
A little fade out in the end.
But in my mind.
Okay, and now let's listen to this in the context of the track.
You and I. But in my mind.
You know what? I think actually it would work better if I just placed it here. I want it to stop where you don't expect it to, because this is very similar to the first one. Let's have an element of surprise there.
You and I. But in my mind. It's
That's great. I think it's a little bit low in volume, so we can take care of this straight into the direct offline processing window. So I'm going to go gain and add, let's say, maybe 5 dBs of gain. That's fine. Let's have a listen.
you and I. But in my mind, it's you and I. Having dinner.
That's great. Now, I want to do this in another element of this track. There's a lot of space between these two snaps, so let's have a listen.
You and I. But in my mind.
You know what? Actually, maybe it would make sense to have it stop here, just before the snap. Let's have a listen.
You and I. But in my
It's a bit loud now. You know, it's all about balancing, you know?
But in my mind.
Nice.
It's you and I. Having dinner on the couch.
Now, maybe I want to create a reverse reverb with this snap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, copy it here, and now I'm going to press F7. And now I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to add revelation all the way wet, and then add the reverse process. There we go. And now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Let's have a listen to it first. I'm pretty sure I don't want this portion, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it like that, and I'm going to show you how I can place this, because this I might need to treat a little bit different than the vocal that we saw before. So I'm going to just drag it, and I'm going to make sure that it aligns just before this snap. Let's have a listen. Nice. Now, sometimes what might happen is you might end up with a way louder build up. So let me show you. If that happens, just make sure that your build up at the very end is still a little bit lower than the actual hit, because otherwise you're just losing all the impact of the actual hit. It should be like, you know, so you have a crescendo and then you have the hit. Sometimes what happens is the build up ends up being louder than the actual hit, and then you just lose all the impact. So just lower it a little bit, and now let's have a listen.
You and I, but in my mind, it's you and I having dinner on the couch. You and I.
So these were just a few ways that you can use the reverse reverb effect, and it's actually pretty simple to do this in Cubase. Like I said, you can build momentum, you can build nice build-ups, you can take any sound, add a little bit of reverb, and then reverse it. It's always going to sound interesting. Just don't overdo it. You can do the same thing with delays, with any special effect that has repetitions. So it's really powerful. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have loads of fun creating reverse reverbs. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.